What's going on, everyone? Coach D here with the Shift Method. Back to you again with another awesome YouTube video. This one's gonna be a little bit different than the traditional ones we've done, going over various exercises. I'm actually gonna talk about today how I injured my ankle a couple months ago, back in April. This is actually the first time that I actually ever hurt my ankle. I've been playing basketball since middle school, so over a decade now, recreationally, semi-competitively with school, and yeah, just so happened to turn it really bad. You're gonna see a video of it in just a second. And it was a scary process, man. Having someone who's never really had a serious musculoskeletal injury like that, it was a lot to deal with. But I tried to stay true to myself and the message that I give for my clients and what I teach other trainers to kind of understand, okay, I have an injury, I still wanna train, I wanna recover for it. What do I do now? So the point of this video is to kind of outline my process of from the time I actually hurt my ankle all the way until I was back to normal activity, normal performance, and having no pain, no issue with the ankle whatsoever. This goes back to April 19th, and we're gonna go all the way to the beginning of June. We're now gonna show you everything. Again, there's some graphic images, there's some feet pics, which I might have to put a paywall on. We'll see how we're gonna do that. But all jokes aside, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this helps you in your recovery process, or for my coaches out there, if this gives you kind of maybe some inspiration for if your clients deal with this injury, this can be helpful. So let's roll the tape. Yeah, so y'all saw that. Not the prettiest thing in the world. It hurt, man. I was on the floor, and shortly after the thing swelled up, in the next couple days it swelled like a balloon. That happened on April 19th. And yeah, no fun at all. But this video is kind of to show you that you can recover from this process. It's gonna be okay. A huge disclaimer as well here, I am not a doctor or a physical therapist, so if you have an injury occur, please consult them. This is just my experience from having the injury itself, as well as using my exercise science background to help out. So I took about 2 days to rest the injury. So I think the 21st, up until the 21st, I didn't do anything, just kind of walked around, got used to it, and took note of how the swelling went. And also big note, I did not ice. One of the big changes that's coming out with rehab for most instances is if you have a soft tissue injury, for the first 5 to 7 days, you kind of want to let the inflammation process occur naturally. This is really big for healing, really good for making sure that everything goes okay with your body and allowing your body to kind of do its job. While ice might feel good, you can kind of blunt that situation. So if you're able to tolerate not using ice or any anti-inflammatory medication, that would be ideal. But again, consult with your doctor with what they say. So after I took a couple days of rest, I decided it's now time to start moving again. So what I started doing is I started doing some basic mobility drills and some light activation. Things like doing calf walks, heel walks, some calf raises, and just some very light movement like banded, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, inversion, eversion, just to get a little bit of movement involved. Shortly after that, I also did some TRX squats, kind of like my first compound lift that I could do, just to get a feel for the movement, get some range of motion back in my ankle, and carry on from there. After that, I believe it was the 24th of April, so not too far after, I did my first lower body weight training session. And actually, I was very fortunate where I didn't have to lower the weights too much. I gradually increased my intensity. I made sure I did a nice thorough warm-up, and I was able to get back to close to the weights I was using for things like leg press and deadlifts, etc. So that was a really good, refreshing sign for me. So about a week later, on the 27th, I was actually able to start incorporating some single leg exercises, things like anterior reaches, things like single leg balancing, as well as increasing my range of motion by actually doing some exaggerated things like using a block to actually show that I can move my ankle into inversion and eversion to get my body comfortable doing that again. Then a few days after that, I was actually able to start jogging. So this was around the 30th, the end of the month. I actually was able to do some light jogging at Johnny O's and actually do just a little bit of cutting laterally to go side to side. Shortly after that, I got into some assisted plyometrics. I did some TRX jumps, or squat jumps if you will, just again to get used to actually landing and absorbing force, but having that safety net of my upper body to help me out. After that, I started to try basketball, just playing by myself, just shooting, light cutting, light movement. That way I didn't have to worry about anyone, getting in contact with me or anything. And then after that, once I felt comfortable there, I started incorporating some more complicated plyos, things like lateral hops, things like lateral bounds, also including some ladder drills for agility so I could improve my acceleration and deceleration while I was moving. Once I felt good there, I actually started to play some one-on-one with some friends because I knew it'd be a safe place to challenge myself, but also I could tell them, hey, I want you to push me in certain ways, but be careful in other ways. And once that was good and time went on, I actually took a trip to Cali, had a conference there, so I did a lot of walking, a lot of hiking. Ankle felt good. And when I came back kind of the first or second week of June, I was back to playing basketball as if everything was normal. So kind of my take homes from this whole experience, which you guys are gonna see here in just a moment, is number one, definitely consult someone, a medical professional, a doctor, physical therapist. I'm very fortunate. As soon as it happened, I called one of my friends who is now a physical therapist. Shout out to Morgan Sunderland. She gave me some great advice that I'm now giving to y'all, and that was extremely helpful in my recovery process. Number two, do your best. I know this is hard in the moment, but do your best to not catastrophize the situation, meaning get out of your head, right? As soon as it happened, it was very scary. I'm like, oh my God, something's broken. I'm screwed. Messed up for who knows how many months or years, whatever. Let those thoughts come and then do your best to stay as positive as possible. That way you can carry on and have better outcomes. Next one, it is okay to have a little bit of pain, all right? I know a lot of times we're told if something hurts that's wrong and you should stop. There's a point to that where if it is so much that it is getting exacerbated or you can't tolerate it at all, that's the time where you're like, maybe I should tone back a little bit. But if you have a little soreness or stiffness, maybe on like a scale of 1 to 10, you have like a 1 or 2 on a pain scale. And if your pain is going down over time, that is a good thing, and that is okay. You also want to make sure that you move as early as possible. I know in certain instances you want to rest it up. For example, I did complete workout rest for 2 days. But after that, you got to get moving because that does a few things. Number one, it gets blood flow to the area, which helps with the healing process. Number two, psychologically, it lets you know, hey, I may have damaged myself temporarily, but everything is going to be okay and I'm going to recover. And then number three, if you move more and do it properly in a progressive manner, you're going to get back to doing the things that you love in a better manner. So I'm documenting this because I think for the first time in my life, I've rolled my ankle, like legit rolled it, hurt it, was an accident, transition playing basketball, me and a teammate going against one person, teammate passed it to me, I immediately passed it back by jumping and passing it, and then I just landed foot completely sideways on someone else's leg or foot. It all happened kind of fast, so now to take off my shoe and see how it looks. So here we go. So for comparison, this is my right ankle, one that did not get injured. Apologize for the feet pics, but looking pretty normal. And then on this side, not too bad. Definitely can see a little swelling here. That's exactly what happened. I rolled my ankle out to the side. Other side looks okay. So I think I just got a little mild inversion sprain of the ankle. So we'll see if it gets worse or better over time. Day 2, I woke up just a few minutes ago. So ankle is in a little bit of pain. I woke up, it hasn't moved all night, so that's understandable. But the swelling has definitely gone down a little bit. So, that's exciting. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So you can see this normal ankle looks pretty normal, very vascular. This side just got that little lump there, but otherwise everything else looks pretty normal. So in all honesty, walking isn't too bad. I think it's more so the swelling is making the range of motion for my gait a little abnormal, so it looks like I have a slight limp. The hard thing is kind of going downstairs, which I'm gonna show you. Going downstairs, a little awkward, but a little patience, trying my best not to use the handrail. Actually doesn't feel too bad. Just gotta get used to it. So coming to the end of day 2, up on the 24-hour mark. Ankle's feeling actually pretty good. So if I had to put a percentage on it, you know, maybe around 40% what it should be. If like last night was like, you know, 20%, like I could move, I could walk, but it felt really crappy. As I've been moving throughout the day, it's been feeling really good. I've been on my feet a lot today, so it is swelling quite a bit more. But I imagine that's just accumulating from me being on my feet all day. I had to cancel a client session this morning because of how stiff and kind of a little bit painful it was in the morning, but now I'm feeling better. I was actually able to reschedule that client, so hoping that it's just gonna keep progressing in a positive way, so keep y'all posted with how that's going. So day 3, we're gonna check out, see how the ankle's doing. Feels really good. Of course, most stiff in the morning, but able to walk around, do most things with virtually no pain. Feels really good, so I'm gonna show you how it looks. So of course, for comparison, right ankle, no swelling, you can easily see the Achilles. Left ankle, again, a little swollen, moving down. I do have a little discoloration. These are actually just old scars. So really, the discoloration is here, kind of towards the bottom of my foot, which is weird because that's not where I feel like the injury occurred, the pain. So maybe it's just a blood vessel that burst possibly. But overall, doesn't feel too bad. The swelling's kind of dispersed across the foot, but really it feels phenomenal. So today I'm probably gonna try and get some light movement onto it, some actual like weight bearing movement. I'm able to like squat down on my toes, which is nice, kind of like a catcher's squat. Tried a little bit like when I was doing my clients yesterday to like go down and squat and demonstrate. It doesn't hurt, just feels like my range of motion is kind of limited. So I'm gonna try and do some things to work on that, get that range of motion back, hopefully record some of it so y'all can see. All right, so day 2, post ankle sprain. Technically only about 48 hours from when I did it. So now that the swelling is kind of pretty much stabilized for the most part, and I'm feeling pretty good, I gotta tell my body, or I gotta rather teach my body that, hey, it is okay to move, it's okay to put some load on it. So I'm gonna do a couple passive range of motion drills, a couple active range of motion, and some actually body weight and band-based strengthening exercises to tell my body that, hey, like, it's okay to move. So we're gonna see how that goes here. And again, just for reference, we got normal ankle on the right side, a little bit swelling on the left. Again, this discoloration, I don't think that's actually from the sprain itself. There's no pain there. It's probably just a blood vessel issue, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do some more movement. All right, so a little bit more than 48 hours past rolling my ankle, and it's looking like an ankle, finally. Finally, the swelling is gone down quite a bit, so hopefully as we approach day like 4 and 5, when I've been told swelling should probably be pretty much gone, hopefully it's looking pretty normal again. So let me show you. So for reference, right ankle, one that's normal. Left ankle, again, not perfect, but starting to actually see the lateral malleolus. My bone can actually see a little protrusion coming out. So it's like it's getting closer to being normal, which is very, very exciting. All right, so it is Saturday morning. Had a couple clients, met with my videographer, so we're gonna check out how the ankle's doing. It's doing phenomenal. Almost all the swelling is gone, just some slight discoloration still, I think maybe from some blood vessels, but it's feeling really good. The only thing that really bothers it is if I go into any kind of inversion, which makes sense, that's how I injured it, but walking, body weight movements feel pretty good. Even single leg stuff like lunges and stuff, you know, single leg RDLs feel pretty good. Little awkward, like stability feels a little off, but overall I'm very happy. So kind of show y'all how that looks. So of course, reference, normal looking ankle. From the other side. Again, a little bit of swelling, mainly in the injury site, but I can see my Achilles pretty well. Everything looks pretty good. Not too bad. All right, so day 5, about to go to the gym, do my first leg workout, like official weight training session with lower body movements. Basically gonna keep my workout the same, but I'm gonna make myself do some eccentrics to force myself to lower the weight. So feels pretty good for the most part. Body weight movements feel good, so we'll see how loading feels on it. Gonna let pain kind of be my guide, meaning a little bit of pain, okay. If it starts exaggerating any pain that I have, I'll probably either change the range of motion, lower the weight more, or potentially swap out the exercise. But gonna do a couple exercises, see how it feels. And yeah, we're just gonna keep on pushing along. All right, so we are 6 days post ankle injury, and pretty much just nice gradual progression. Swelling, I got about 80 to 90% of it down, I'd say at this point. So now that I'm kind of coming up on a week and you know, most of the swelling's gone, but I got some residual swelling, now's the time I'm gonna use some ice to kind of take care of that, just to get rid of the rest of it, because it's kind of restricting my range of motion. And the main healing process for the immediate tissue damage that occurred is probably done. So gonna control the swelling to get it out, improve my range of motion, and keep training. I trained legs yesterday. My ankle feels great. And I even did just a little bit of jogging today for the warm-up of my group fitness class that I taught. So we're doing good. We're moving in the right direction. Keep y'all posted with it. All right, so a little past a week since the ankle sprain and feeling phenomenal. Again, really the only thing that's bothering it is going into extreme inversion, like what caused the injury, but I've been doing some little rehab, some strengthening exercises for it basically every day. So swelling is really, really good today, just getting better every day. Again, for comparison, right ankle and left ankle. Starting to finally see this kind of indentation I have naturally here. Again, all the swelling is kind of localized to the injured area now. It's starting to get less and less every day, so more progress. All right, so we're about a week and a half from my ankle injury. Yeah, about 10 days or so. Pretty much all the swelling is gone. Feels great. I've done a bunch of different workouts, conditioning, strength training on it, and it feels great. I'm going to show you our comparison, and I'm actually going to start getting into some light plyometrics to add on to my rehab exercise that I've been doing. The first plyometric I'm going to do is running. I'm going to actually do some running for about 10 minutes or so, see how that feels, and then over the weeks I'm going to incorporate things like some modified box jumps, get comfortable with those, hopefully progress back to close to where I was, and then get into some more specific single leg plyometrics to help it out. Of course, working on going forward and backwards as well as going side to side to get kind of all change of direction. So let's see how it looks. So again, for comparison, we got the right side. Everything looks normal. And on the left, you can really start to see, the posterior side of that lateral malleolus. Really, only thing that is swollen just a little bit is that anterior portion on the front, but you can see it pretty well. The discoloration is pretty much gone away as well. Again, some of these are just scars. You have that little bit discoloration there, but overall, it looks pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna keep pushing it. All right, so we're past the 2-week period when I rolled my ankle, and it's doing phenomenal. Range of motion is pretty much 100%, no pain. Really, the only thing that bothers me is forcing some excessive inversion, but I'm getting more and more as time goes on, so doing pretty good in that regard. Now that I kind of checked that box where I can do resistance training for normal, I'm setting PRs on some of my lower body lifts, so that's a good sign. Range of motion is coming back, and I can basically do anything single leg, double leg that I would normally do. I'm gonna start reincorporating some light assisted plyometrics, 2 feet only. I've done some things like teaching classes where I do like jumping jacks and things like that. So I know I can handle plyometrics. I'm just gonna structure a little bit more in my rehab for the next probably 2 to 4 weeks. So I'm gonna start assisted with 2 legs for plyometrics. Then I'm gonna do unassisted with 2 legs. I'll do some assisted single leg and then unassisted single leg and get back to regular, hopefully in the next 4 weeks or so. And of course, as always for comparison, we got the right uninjured ankle, and we got the left. Really, again, all you see is just this little bit excess swelling right here. Not too crazy. Again, when you compare them side by side, looks pretty normal. Again, I can see my Achilles on both sides, so that's good. Just a little accumulation of swelling still there, and a little bit tender if I put too much pressure on it, but pretty good. All right, so coming up on about 3.5 weeks. Rehab is progressing really, really well. Did some assisted 2 leg plyometrics. Today I'm gonna do some unassisted. So we're gonna do some box jumps. We're even gonna try out a little bit of single leg plyos, but it's gonna be light and based on the warm up, kind of like the traditional prep that I would do for any kind of like athletic lower body kind of day. Things like A skips, B skips, things like that. So gonna see how that goes. But the main focus today is just going to be getting used to some box jumps again, getting used to actually landing and loading that ankle, especially because, you know, as I get ready for basketball again, it's going to be crucial that I learn how to absorb force again properly, especially later on when it's not going to be perfect every time, right? I might land on someone's foot. I might land more so on one leg than the other. So I got to get ready for that. And I'm feeling good. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try. All right, so we're just past the 4-week mark, rehabbing from an ankle sprain, and it's going very, very well. I'm doing some light single leg plyometrics, even some lateral plyos as well, so everything's going pretty well. Today is gonna be the first day. We do a little bit of basketball. I'm not gonna play any pickup, not gonna do any games, just really gonna be doing some shooting, very light layups and cutting and change the direction. Nothing too strenuous, just gonna see how it feels and go from there. All right, so it's Monday. We're coming up on the 5-week mark tomorrow for when I rolled my ankle. And again, as I keep saying, it's progressing nicely. Honestly, almost back to 100%. Notice, like I said, when I tried basketball for the first time last week, notice I'm like a little bit sluggish, not as explosive or fast as I usually was, but that's understandable since I haven't really done anything like that for about a month. So I'm guessing that's just a little bit of rust that'll come off in about another 4 weeks or so. I'm able to do a little bit of change of direction. I'm able to do some single leg stuff. So really just gonna keep progressing that, right? Increasing the intensity, increasing the duration, increase the complexity. So going from, you know, single leg where I'm moving laterally or linearly to making sure I have some change of direction, and then eventually translating that into making basketball a little bit tougher too. So gonna go ahead and do some single leg agility exercises here and a little bit of change of direction. Gonna keep on moving. Let's do it. So just finished up some one-on-ones, played with a friend, make sure they weren't too rough on me while playing, so I got used to everything and it felt amazing. Shooting actually was really, really good. Change direction, start and stop. You can definitely tell it's not 100%, but really good. Lateral movement is really the only thing that's still a little iffy, but I think that'll get better with time. Acceleration, deceleration, linearly is pretty good. Strength is pretty good. Power is, again, can jump pretty high, but still got a little bit of work to do. All right, so it is a beautiful, sunny, hot as hell Sunday morning here in South Florida. Running about 90 degrees, and this is gonna be day number 3 playing basketball. Just shooting around, did my warm-ups, did some shooting drills, and I feel amazing. Let's say the ankle is probably like 90, 95%. Really not having any issues anymore. Start and stop feels good, lateral movement feels pretty good. Only thing I noticed, like I mentioned a couple times before, is definitely don't have the quickness or the power that I did about 5 weeks ago. But again, that's probably more of a detraining result as opposed to just the ankle not being right. I can tell on my right leg as well. It's just, I don't have as much power as I did because I've been training it or actually practicing as much basketball. And that's it. I really hope y'all appreciated this video. While it was a scary process, I had a lot of fun making it, and it's nice to see that I went from basically not being able to walk to now having a little bit of fun, being able to play basketball and do the things I love. As always, if you like this, please be sure to like, comment, share, or subscribe. You all know where to find me on Instagram at @the_shift_method. Same for TikTok as well. And of course, my website, theshiftmethod.org. Y'all can cop yourself some apparel, and y'all can sign up for training either in person or virtually if you want. See y'all later.